Please welcome on stage the amazing founder and CEO of Stadium Media, Mitch Mallon.
Amazing. Oh, right, let's see. So people ask, why am I here? And I look at that every morning. Why am I here? Why am I here? It works. I'm here because I've suffered for over 30 years to get to this point in my career. No, I've been in the home entertainment business for over 30 years. I launched one of the first digital platforms back in 2004 when everybody said digital. Created an organization in the United States called the Digital EMA in 2007. And then I launched my own company in 2015, which is a digital distributor. So let me tell you a little bit about the organization that we founded. It's the Digital EMA. It was established through other committees to work and help all of filmmakers, distributors, and others understand the marketplace a little better. We published a glossary of industry terminology with an online repository for research. So we went through all those things of, I'm going to grant rights. Well, what does that right mean? We went through that with all of the studios, a lot of the platform retailers, and we came up with a guideline. We produced an annual event called the Digital Media Pipeline in New York City and Los Angeles. We also do salons around North America. And in this past year, we produced our first conference specifically focused on OTT. So the organization also helped develop common metadata standards related to retail and digital distribution, avails notifications, and QC nomenclature. We developed standard specifications for mezzanine files for digital audio-video distribution, developed practices for closed captioning, which is mandated in the States for IP-delivered programming. So the riddle of this show, and every show, how do you monetize? It used to be, I got a Netflix deal, I got a Netflix deal, I got a Netflix deal. Now, sorry, hard work. Doesn't happen that way. So I always like to start with the basics. Even though it's digital, do you know what that actually means? Do you know what rights you actually have to grant? So the rights. IVOD or TVOD, Internet Video on Demand or Transactional Video on Demand. There may be other variations, but a rental. Someone rents it for 48 hours, they pay a certain price, they have 30 days to watch it, money there. EST, electronic sell-through, like purchasing a DVD. You own it, supposedly. SVOD, not streaming, SVOD, subscription video on demand. So you would pay a monthly fee, you would get access to titles that are on the platform, there you go. Then the new kid on the block, which has been around for a while, but really showing its strength now, AVOD, advertised video on demand. So, and I know within the region, that's the big guy. That's the monster coming into everyone's homes. So you got to be aware of your digital rights. I know a lot of companies or friends that will go, I got a license deal, I got a license deal. What rights did you grant them? All. No, you don't. You look and see what rights do they actually need, and can you monetize it somewhere else as well. So always be aware of that. Most important thing is your assets. That's the rights. So also here's a link to, if you want to go and look, but a glossary of terms so you can better understand what you may or may not be. So go www.digitalema.org, and it's up there, and take a look at that. And we try to update it as often as possible because this changes every 15, 20 minutes. So metadata, all the basics, you need to understand metadata. Without metadata, you're not getting online. Doesn't matter. I have this great film. Yeah, what is it about? I don't have any information. Okay, great. So length, release history, country of origin, related content, director, tags, what's relevant, why would anyone stumble upon it online? Do you have IDs set up for it? What languages do you have? What's the proper title? Summary, synopsis, 400 characters at least, cast, genre, rating based upon each territory. Is it rated? Can you go certain places? So, and now, I should have had a curtain, and now, how do you actually get it into the marketplace? The options are a sales agent. Sales agents are wonderful. Find a sales agency that may give you an advance. Spectacular if you can get an advance. And if that advance covers everything and then some, even better. But if it's a small advance, now what are you going to do? You know what questions to ask them? Where are they looking to place their program? How is the film going to be marketed? What timeline are you looking to recoup that advance? What territories are they acquiring with that advance? Are you pitching to Netflix, Hook, View, other platforms? Will this be on iTunes or Apple TV, Amazon, Google Play, Microsoft, other transactional partners? Those are very relevant to know. It's not just, I got an advance, great. How are they going to do things for you and make you money back? An aggregator, different from a distributor. An aggregator may go to selective platforms if you may have relationships with others. So same thing. Who covers the encoding? Nothing's free in this world. You've got to encode and deliver, and each platform requires a different specification to be delivered. What percentage of monies are they taking from the monies earned? What platforms do they distribute to? What markets are these platforms in? What happens with the SVOD and AVOD rights? Does everybody know what SVOD and AVOD is? All right. Can you have access to the files after they've been created for future deals? What territories are they able to aggregate to for you? What requirements are needed from you as well? And then again, are they pitching Netflix, View, Hook, others? A distributor. So a distributor, same thing. Who's covering the encoding costs? Sometimes you'll get an advance from them, sometimes you won't. It all depends. What percentage of monies earned are they taking? What platforms do they distribute to? Who markets to the platforms? Meaning, not so much who actually speaks to the platforms directly to possibly get placement. The riddle of the digital world is placement, eyeballs. If you're able to get placement on a platform, more eyes are able to see it, the more money you possibly can generate. If you're lost into the bundle of the endless shelf space, because that's digital. It's an endless shelf space. Yeah, there's a reason they say end. It's an endless shelf space. It's at the end. So do you work closely with filmmakers? Do you window the release? Meaning, are you putting it all out on every type of offering immediately, or are you windowing stuff that you may go transactional a certain way? Do you go early EST? Are you going to a subscription site? Are you waiting for AVOD? All those little things to elongate the value of your film, or your TV show, or your film. What happens when 18 months comes up? Are they going to forget about it and move on because they've got new stuff, or are they still working the title for you? So you've got to look at that. Again, can you have access to the files? Most important thing. What territory is able to aggregate and distribute to, and what requirements? And again, are they pitching to Netflix, View, Hook, all the other platforms? But it's digital, and I can self-distribute. That's the dream of digital. Yeah, okay, sure. Can you work directly with most platforms? No. Can you speak directly with Netflix, Hook, View, app? No. Can you deliver the film directly to the digital platform in their portal? No. Can you market the film yourself? Yes, you can. Do you have time to focus on all this while creating more projects? Absolutely not. So the riddles of how to distribute. All right, so regardless of what you're trying to do, what's your job? We brought it up the other day on the panel. It's to seed. Search, examine, entice, and then deliver. You're creating a program. Who's your audience? Do you know who your audience is? Are you examining how that audience actually finds the content? Then are you creating things to tease them into actually being aware of what's going on? And then do you have the assets to properly deliver what you need? So again, are you thinking about this when you're creating things? Are you creating teaser segments, behind-the-scenes footage, little things that you can get out social media-wise to just get the awareness going? Have you thought about the artwork? We talk about theatrical or TV. The digital box artwork is the most important aspect of anything digitally. You have an absolute millisecond to grab someone's attention. If that box art is not attractive, they'll pass by you and you're gone. So most important thing, it could be color backdrop, you know, what the photo is, but most important thing, and a lot of people don't give it enough credit. So, and then again, what are you thinking about in 2 years? It's come out, it's released, great. Okay, do you have a plan in 2 years? Is there an anniversary of something? Is there something relevant about the storyline that you've done? Is there, if it's a TV show, are there certain characters that are now being on a new show? Do they come from something from syndication? So again, who's your audience? Where is your audience? Is your audience here? Is your audience in the Philippines? Is your audience in Canada? Is your audience in India? Where is your audience? And then, again, how do they find out subjects about what you're doing? How do they know? You seed it. Just get things out. It's not hard, but it's managing your time early enough. Social media, always important. Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Vine. Dailymotion even. Do people know what Dailymotion is? Dailymotion was YouTube before there was YouTube, still around. So they're there, utilize them. So artwork, again, you want catch. I want them to catch the eye, catch the eye, catch the eye. Oh, what is that? That looks interesting. Let me stop. They may or may not watch, but you want them to stop. You got to get them to stop. Big screen. What if you're on a tablet? What if you're on a phone? Still, Milla. TV episodic. They're just, you know what it is. You know what the story, that's what it is. Very, very, very important. So in the budgeting time, part of it is creation of assets art. All right, so again, within this digital world, are you thinking about the life cycle, the windows? I know windows is like a bad word sometimes. We don't window. Yes, you do, you window. So what works? We know that horror has a lifespan. If it's a decent horror film, no matter where, most parts. If it's a good horror film, it's a good horror film. They have a limited lifespan, but there's a life. Documentaries with built-in powerful stories. We know that if the subject resonates, it's there. High-quality dramas. They do. Good drama, it will go. Romantic comedies. We know that works, but it's got to have known actors. And not an A-list, but it could be a B actor or somebody who's now later in their career, but somebody of a name. And then validating feel-good family or, faith-based films. These work. We know that works, so when you're creating. So the unknown story, because everyone's into SVOD and AVOD, is the EST transactional world. So this just in the US alone, and I know it's tougher around most of the world, but in the US alone, it's still almost a $2 billion business. Do you really want to give up your piece of that puzzle? No. So that's why the rights are so important. Instead of just granting somebody all of their rights, you keep part of those rights, because what if you were to find $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 or $70,000? That's $70,000 more you had than you didn't, because you didn't keep those rights. All those little things for filmmakers, creators are so important. So I always like to put this in, just what the approximate SVOD reach is right now. So Latin America is coming. North America is the largest. We know that the Asia Pacific is growing tremendously, and we know Western Europe is actually growing as well. So, but projected subscribers, and this is always a wild card with Netflix, and this is a little bit 24 million, Amazon 17 within the region. Ichi, Tencent, Youku are within the Chinese market just killing it. But here comes the fun part. All right, so your film is out in the marketplace, on platforms. How are people going to watch it? I know here we have the mobile solution, which is how it is, but things progress and change. And everyone says it doesn't. Things do progress. So we're all familiar with the Xbox gaming platform. Well, you can watch movies there. We know smart TVs. You can watch them there. Amazon Fire TV, which is starting to spread throughout the world. Roku, which I don't know if people are familiar with Roku. Blu-ray players, which aren't as prevalent here, but that was the first true enabled device in order for people to stream. The Apple TV. You've got tablets. Then you've got phones. Then you've got the new players coming. Android TV. Those boxes are coming up. You've got the Chromecast stick. Legacy. You have an older TV, HDMI. It's not a smart TV. Well, you can get a Chromecast. And you can go right from your phone right to your TV. Chromecast stick. The new guy on the block is a Roku. It's a Roku stick. They have boxes and everything. It's a stick that you put into your TV, a remote that actually has specific buttons identified to certain platforms. So that'll change probably based upon the region, but you don't have to think about it. It's like a channel selector. Boom, I'm right there. I mean, easy technologies. Instead of having to go and spend, oh, I've got to buy a TV. It's another $500. Well, I have a TV. Well, what's that? That's about $40. Now you have a smart TV. How beautiful. So Amazon Fire TV, they have about 37 million active users worldwide. A lot of different manufacturers are working with them, and they have multiple variations of how to actually get product to the TV within the Amazon storefront. Then Roku, and do people know the history? I always like to explain the history of Roku. Roku and Netflix were together in the beginning days, and the first time Netflix came out was through a Roku box. It was this square brick box, first interface. And so because of Netflix and because of Roku, they exist. And now Roku has become the leader in the marketplace of those over-the-top set-top boxes. So, and they're working with so many manufacturers now that they've embedded and created TVs. So just last week in the UK, Hisense released their first Roku Smart TV. So they're not creating their own system, they're using the Roku backend. So what does that mean? So smartphones, about 2 million plus apps on smartphones for you to go navigate through. Roku, over 3,000 different channels. Roku. How? Where do they fit? How does it get in there? So Tubi, this is the flavor of this year. You will hear everything, but the AVOD flavor of the year within North America is a company called Tubi TV. They've been around for 5 or 6 years. They are all ad support, and this past year they have kind of exploded onto the scene. They just launched in Australia and New Zealand. They've announced that they may be doing a European expansion, so who knows? But they are really all in AVOD, a lot of support from all the studios and expansion-wise, and they have over 29 million, installs of active users. So how do you monetize? Brutal competition. Costs are very high. Aggregation is imperative. So I always like to go through top US platforms. Hoopla, public libraries. I'm going to my library. I want to rent a DVD. No, how about you just get a movie and watch it? That's Hoopla. Google Play. Google Play stores worldwide, transactional. Hulu, one of the first companies out there, started in AVOD, now SVOD, part of Disney. YouTube, the mothership of them all. We wouldn't be standing here without YouTube. YouTube created the reality of, I can watch a video on my computer? YouTube. Apple TV, reinventing themselves, so they're on the move. Amazon Prime Instant Video, Netflix, of course. Xfinity, which is Comcast, which is part of Sky, all of that. PlayStation, Sony, leader right there. Microsoft, around the world as well. Fandango now, and Tubi. This is just a sampling of the types of platforms that are on the Roku and around there. All the different types of content offerings. Shudder, Horror, Stars, which is first-rate TV. Hulu, Stir, which is a linear digital stream. Pantavia, which is Spanish language. Watch Free Flicks. I wonder what they give. Oh, Watch Free Flicks. Google Play, the Roku channel. Now, Roku has become their own separate AVOD channel. That's new. PureFlix, which is faith-based family, good value offering. Screenbox, Horror, Steam. We know the gaming platform, Steam. Funimation, animation, Pluto TV. Have people heard about Pluto TV and Viacom? Viacom purchased this company, Pluto TV. They have now hundreds of linear digital channels that are free, and they're making a play. Crackle Plus, which was Crackle, owned by Sony, which is now owned by another company. Zumo, which is another linear digital streaming. BritBox, Canopy, more TV. Sundance, Bamboo, Chinese language, Brown Sugar, Urban, Tribeca Shortlist, Asian Crush, Crunchyroll, Feel, and Popcorn Flicks, Overdrive. It just goes on and on and on. And this is in the States now, and it seems like every week there's more popping up. So what has the Netflix world expansion meant? So I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this company. You heard of Blockbuster? So when Blockbuster first came into the States back in the 80s, and I worked with them, all the mom and pop stores were like, they're going to put us out of business. They're crazy. Oh, my gosh. Well, they did. They put all the mom and pop stores out of business because they made it a real business. And so what happened? Everyone thought the business was going away. Well, it didn't go away. In the States, you had West Coast Video come on, hundreds of stores. A company called Family Video, 1,000 stores. A company called Movie Gallery, thousands of stores. A company called Hollywood Video. So all of a sudden, Blockbuster making it more legitimate, the whole region expanded and business grew from there. So that's why I say, what happened with this? So 2 years ago, when I would go and do presentations, this was the platforms within this marketplace. I go, hey, there's Filmon and iFlix and QuickFlix, and the region's really growing. Okay, that's 2 years ago. Now, Catch Play, Rakuten Viki, Voot, Dim Sum, iFlix, Movie Now out of New Zealand, Hook, Hotstar. Oh, let's keep going. DocuBay, Hook, Watch Play, Stan, View, Foxtel, QuickFlix. Oh, let's keep going. Genflix, Line TV, Movie. I mean, how wonderful, right? Why is that? Because Netflix decided to expand in 2016. I don't know if people remember, at CES, they made a giant announcement. They launched in 130 different countries immediately. They turned it on. Well, that put the challenge to everybody, which is what you want. You want the creative people to go, you know what? If they can do it, why can't I? And so that's the beauty of what happened. They are the catalyst for growth in Asia, in Europe, in Latin America, and you needed somebody. So you needed that kick, and they were the kick. And they're doing what they do, but in the long run, it'll be good for everybody in the business. But I know most didn't go to medical school, but you have to have patience. That's just how it is. You need patience in order to go through here. So, and then in China, of course, we got the three, Tencent, Ichi, Yoku. And they're just, massive. And then, so we talked about that with the Asian marketplace. What about these guys? These are here also. Google Play's here, Amazon is here, Microsoft is here, YouTube, Apple TV is here, Netflix, PlayStation. So on top of those 3 slides, we now have this as well. So there's no business. There's, I don't even know why we're talking about this. The business is almost done. Why? And then I forgot about these guys. Disney Plus, HBO Max coming, Pluto, who is still expanding, Peacock, NBC, Sky Comcast, Apple TV Plus, Facebook Watch. Ugh, sheesh, I don't know what to do anymore. So the opportunities are completely endless here. There is so much potential in this space. Patience, understand what you're doing. And I'm running through this quickly because of the time, but I like to talk out things that might be on your mind. There's different opportunities. For example, in 2005, when I was running a different company, I found a music deal in the marketplace, and I said, oh, music. I wonder if they'd be interested in video. And I reached out to a legal team, found a CEO, and said, hi, I have video. Would you be interested in doing something like this? And it was public libraries, and my company laughed at me. They laughed at me because there was no business there. And we made a deal, and the first check that came a year and a half later, they said, oh, we love libraries. And I said, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's forward thinking, gut. Data is wonderful. We love data. But you need to use your gut as well. If you've been doing in the business long enough, you know what consumers like. You know what it takes to go out there. You look at platforms. Just because there's a platform doesn't mean you need to work with them. You need to look and see, are they a platform for you? Are they a partner for you? If it's a sales agent or a distributor, are they partners? I look at that very honestly. It's like, are they here to help us grow the business? Or are they here for a quick buck? And if it's someone here that wants to help grow the business, then you want to support them, good or bad. You want to take a chance. It's not a one-dimensional unless you are, but bigger picture, there's so much opportunity coming into the space. Buses. We know that in Europe, trains are now looking at licensing content. So who's looking at that? We know the airline business is doing that. We know that cabs, taxis, those are looking at, they want short form. They're looking for content. They want people, what can you do? Well, I'm sitting in a cab for 20 minutes. What am I going to watch? Well, motion sickness is one of those things when I think about that with a cab. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. No. So I don't know about that with motion sickness, but there's all these various opportunities that are out there. So the whole thing is there's money, there's flexibility. I went very quickly. I have a lot of time left. I didn't think I was going to go that quickly. But the marketplace is growing. It's never been a better time to be in the business. This is the ultimate dream of entertainment. No inventory. No costs. DVD world was, well, I've got costs, I've got to manufacture, it's got to be there, we've got to have a percentage set up. That's not this. This is, you're creating a film or a TV show. You're encoding the assets. You're giving it somewhere to be delivered. That's the asset. Oh, I'll rent it. Great. It's a file that's being delivered to them. What a wonderful time. What a great time to be in this business. So I didn't want any questions sent up here. I'd rather have questions from you guys. So we can actually see what's on your mind, what thoughts are you thinking of, what opportunities you're maybe passing on, and what's going on. I'm here to learn from you guys as much as I want you guys to know from me as well. I've been coming into the marketplace for almost 5 years now. I've watched it grow. I know there's a lot of growth still coming ahead of us. And so in this sense, you guys are the experts. I'm just the one who's actually seen all of the inner workings of how platforms work and what they're looking at contract-wise, and what offerings they're looking at, and what consumers actually look to embrace, and how they embrace things. So with that, do we have any questions? No. Come on, there's got to be something here. Really? No questions. Ukraine. See, I know some people here already.
What would be your recommendation whether we should split, let's say, the sale agents or distributors covering different regions or covering different types of rights? So, I mean, should we go regionally or should we go by some types of rights? The issue is that the question I am often asked as a seller is, we could cover TWOT and EST. That's it. Please move ahead.
So it all depends on, do the sales agents have relationships with platforms? Now, TV sales are different. I'm not discussing TV sales. I'm not talking about theatrical. I'm talking about digitally. Do the sales agents have direct relationships with these platforms? And if they do, what regions do they have those relationships with? And that'll determine where you want to go. So if Amazon is out there and they have a deal with Amazon, but it's a UK deal and they can go to Europe, well, then you've got to look at other opportunities to go out there. So, and there are a lot of distributor aggregators that do have world deals out there in the spaces, and that's who we'd look at there. The Netflix licensing, could it be Showtime, could it be HBO Max, HBO Plus, all of that, that's a different scenario. Some have very good strength in that, some do not. And you've got to look at, first off, is the film worth getting a license deal? I know everybody thinks everything's worth a license deal. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is worth a license deal. A lot of companies are pushing back towards not licensing and actually getting it on a platform and then helping you promote, and they will actually subsidize and promote as well. So you've got to look at the strength of it. Was there a theatrical release of it? You know, is there awareness there? Is there a marketing play? It's all of those basics that the platforms now look at in order to embrace the title to put it in the marketplace. So I would probably look at one to start, go through the questions of what can they bring to the table for you, and if it satisfies what you're trying to do, that's great. But you also may want to limit the term of the deal if you can, if there's no advance. You know, and then again, look at that 18 months, 2 years, because if it's a good film, it's a good film. I mean, I as a company, I look at long tail. We didn't go through that, so do you know what long tail is? I pick up films that are from the 2000s or the 1990s or the 1980s or the 1970s, and TV shows from the 60s and the 50s, because it's a built-in audience. I know the audience is out there. Yeah, they're a little older, but now because of the devices that make it ease of use for them to get online, they're more likely to enjoy it. So it's not a new release per se, but in their eyes it is a new release because it's revented. So there's a value for everything. So if you're a filmmaker, for example, and you have a new film coming out or you have a new TV show, what about your history? What are those, or where are you doing with those rights? And a lot of producers don't think of that. You know what, I've made 3 other shows in the past, who's got those rights? Well, they're just sitting there. Well, there's a value there in this space. A lot of the platforms now are looking at new releases, but are they also looking to fill the back catalog with older, well-recognizable films? For example, there's festival, there's the marketplace, you have those festival darlings. Where are those films? You have great TV shows from around the world that people grew up on. Where are those? A lot of them are out, but a lot of them aren't. Are they owned by the networks themselves, or are they owned by individual producers? And that's how you have to look at that. Are you an individual producer? Did you do something with it? That's money for you to help you keep your career moving forward. It's the little basics that should be obvious that aren't, because everyone's moving forward all the time. It's like you've got to go back and look at, you know, I have assets already. I've created it. It's there. An asset is worth something. And then you come back to, well, do I have to redo the artwork? Great, you spend a little money on the artwork. Is there something relevant about some of the characters or the actors that are in there? Well, that's relevant again, so everything that's old can be new. As I say, digital, this is the ultimate dream of Hollywood. It's the greatest time in this business. You can go, if it's a good title, you're not regionally blocked anymore. A good title can translate anywhere in the world. I can have a Korean title that does well in multiple countries around the world. Whereas before, you were kind of limited to where you were, unless you got a broadcast deal. Well, no, now I can actually get it onto one of the I can go back to one of the platforms. I can go to one of these guys, and I can be in countries all around the world at a very minimal cost. So you're not spending a lot of money, and you're able to get your works out around the world. How amazing is that? I say to everybody, if you're in this room and you don't appreciate the fact that you're in this business, and you wake up every morning saying, oh my gosh, I'm in this business. Can you believe it? And you're not thankful every morning for doing this, and you're going to try and make it work any way you are, you shouldn't be in this business. No matter what. Be blessed to be doing this and have this opportunity this time in our careers, and that you've made it this far. Because you've had the golden days of VHS, then DVD was a golden age. Blu-ray really was kind of non-existent in many parts of the world, and now digital is here and getting stronger by the second, as you see. If you have something good, you can reach that audience you've always wanted. And you're in control. You're the marketer, you're the creator, you're the designer, and then you need someone, which is an aggregator, a sales agent, a distributor, to help you fulfill that wish. So that, hopefully I answered that, but I'll ramble on forever. Ladies? No? 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 Ladies? Ladies? Hey, oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Very nice.
Thank you. That was a lot of information. Oh, thank you so much.
I should have put more up. No.
So 2 quick questions. What's your prospect on Quibi? Because you mentioned the short.
Oh, I was trying to avoid that.
And then
Should I give you a short answer?
a longer answer is better.
No, but Quibi.
Quibi, yeah?
Short, should I give you the short answer?
Sure,
It's
yeah.
short form. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Thank you very much. No, quit. I'll be quiet now for you. Yes.
And then the second question would be like, how to leverage YouTube? Like, it's a different. I see it as a different platform. Like, apart from like Netflix and other platforms you've mentioned. So, what's your best strategy? What's your tips and recommendations?
There are companies that, like Maker was and some others, that literally had a great business on YouTube, but that's a constant, you're constantly feeding that animal. It's a beast. You're constantly feeding it. For me, I use it really as a promotional type aspect. I put trailers of all my programs up there. I put every episodic TV show that I control, I put up a first episode from each season because I want people. That's my merchandising. I want it tagged, which means I'm identifying where it's available in the marketplace for people to either buy or rent. And I want them to enjoy it. And I look at the social interaction from everybody, and none of my producers fight me on it because ultimately you want someone to enjoy that show. So it's a great platform. But financially wise, it has changed over the past 10 years. And I've worked with YouTube since 2007. It has completely changed and become, you really need someone dedicated constantly to maximize the effort on YouTube. And that's a whole different team. And so personally, I just use it as a promotional aspect. And I see the results when we do something because the programs that are really picked up and looked at mostly on there, that I see those views, I see it actually affect itself in the results of being digitally available. I see it happen. And then Quibi. So Quibi is, Jeffrey Katzenberg is actually coming out with a short form initiative, and they've been working on it for a few years. And so they're spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on episodes for short form. And he believes that that will become the place for short form video. Who knows? I mean, I hope, because I know there are a lot of short film makers, and there's really not much opportunity in the space for short films. That's a problem. There are a few platforms, YouTube, of course, and that's awareness. Vimeo, public libraries will offer that. Amazon will offer that. There are places around that offer short form, but there's not much. The problem with short films is there's not enough meat to get views time-wise in subscription model, and you can't put enough ads in there, so by the time someone watches it, you get 1 or 2 ads, there's no money. You can get the number of minutes viewed and everything, which is great, but there's not real sustainable money in there. And that's where episodic TV, if you're 20 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever, it's really not episode by episode, but the bulk of the titles really can do extremely well in this space. Because yeah, you have the binge scenario, but the repeatability, and it's comfortable, and that is your mobile. So if you have a TV show, a lot of times people will be sitting at a bus stop or going somewhere, and they're gonna have an episode there. So it's a beautiful synchronicity for that as well. So Quibi, we will see. Coming, I'm waiting for the official launch. And so that's one that no one knows about. And then there are like 5 or 6 other ones that are gonna be very relevant that I know are coming, but they haven't really announced yet. The one thing you need to look at with anyone you work with is, are they looking under rocks to distribute for you? Because going to Apple TV and Amazon, those are great, they're all great, but once that lifespan is expanded, you need to find other ways to maximize revenue, and those are new things. People are looking for content anywhere. They're always, it's like, and you don't even realize it. Who knew, again, with libraries, that people are gonna go there? And now you have colleges and universities, because there are students, and they go, you know what, that's a great film, or this is an influential film, and now they're renting and you're getting compensated from that. All of these little things came within the past 10 years, and so there's other opportunities coming into the marketplace. This is more of a high-level view of here are the real players in the marketplace today, but I bet you within 2 or 3 years just in this region, there are gonna be some little gems that are under there that you don't realize. And it's like, where'd that guy come from? Well, it was an entrepreneur that was so smart, and he saw a need, and you just got in there. And your whole thing is, Everyone goes, there's no money in digital. There's no money. It's digital pennies or digital dimes. Well, you know what? 10 dimes make $1. And that's what it is. You're not going to get rich on one platform. It just doesn't happen. You need to be out there. You need to manage the content. Your partners need to do that. And if it's the right thing, it starts to pool up. There's real, money for you to actually go out and subsidize all of the other great things you're doing, which is the theatrical and doing broadcast deals and others. So digital is a complete complement to what the whole ecosystem is. There's no end of end all. This is it. We're going to make a career. That's my career. No, there's none of that. This is an additive amount to what's going on. Now, in 5 or 6 years, who knows? You know what? The world may change again because we don't know about consolidation, new platforms, and within this region itself, will there be something that actually pops, that everybody goes? Whereas YouTube popped and Netflix popped, is there something here regionally that'll just blow the socks off of everybody and they'll go like, wow, I got to be on there. Then you got to look at age. Is it youth or is it older? Where are the demographics? What are the age? I mean, all of that stuff is so relevant from the time perspective of anybody being able to do things. So all of those, it's not just putting a film out and hoping something comes out, or I have this TV show. You're fighting against time with everyone else. Are they playing games? Are they, not so much outdoor activities, but there's gamers, and there's, work that has to be done, and there's social interaction, and then there's watching films and TV shows. What part of that can you get their attention for? The other is when you're out in the marketplace, who's helping you promote? A lot of these platforms out there are wonderful where they will actually be promoting titles for you, whether it's we're selling it for €9 or €14. Well, is it all there, or is it going to reduce it, or are you going to be in promotional aspects where there's a rental price, an aggressive rental price, an aggressive sale price? All of those little things create more bundles of dollars. It's not just putting it up and walking away. So it's another question for who you work with is like, how are they going to maximize the revenue and work with you in merchandising and marketing? And just be aware of all the opportunities out there. It's a moving target, the whole industry-wise. And I know you can't absorb all of it in 1 second, but it's just aware of little things. So the questions I put up were just as a guidance. But there's so much more to the questions when you find that company really are comfortable with you want to work with, which is the ultimate goal. There's not one is better than the other. It's just what fits your need at the time. Thank you for Quibi. No? Oh, ladies. I do that. Anybody else? Anybody else? Nobody? I didn't talk loud enough.
Hey, I have a question.
Where are we?
Right here.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
Hello.
So I'm a producer, and you know that in the streaming platforms like Netflix, they used to pay so much money for acquisition, but now it's moving on to the commissioning the original products.
Yes.
So from the producer's point of view, we are all thinking about making our project and then selling it through the distributor or sales agent used to. But now we are changing from the very pre-production process, and I'm wondering how this change is affecting the distributor's point of view, and when you really, because there's a lot more money in the original commissioning, even if you are copyrights or taken over by the global platform, but still it's very tempting, and it's like selling to all the individual platforms is such a hard work.
It's hard. No, it's hard.
Yeah, but at the end you may be making the same amount of money, but it's going to take 2-3 years. So that's the kind of thing that I'm dealing in all the time, and I'm wondering how does it affect to your work?
No, so I had a film that we worked with Netflix, and I love the Netflix guys for what they did, everything. I love working with them, they're great. And so we worked with them, and Netflix made us an offer for certain regions, and the producers, to their credit and me, we wanted to do the deal. So without a question, we wanted to work with Netflix. But we weren't comfortable granting all of the territories they wanted, and so we negotiated the proper value for it in the regions we wanted, because they wanted to explore other territories. And by holding those rights and going to the other territories, we more than doubled the amount of money we would have made. And they were my first test, and they were so like, you know what, we want to see. They worked with Netflix, which was great for their resume. It was wonderful for them, but it helped enhance the value. It was wonderful. And we went to multiple markets, and I saw, and it wasn't because it was on Netflix. We actually we went out traditional transactional-wise and EST. So how I look at things is you've got to look at merchandising and marketing stuff. So there's a reason why transactional is still very viable. Because when you go out transactionally to rent or to own, it's awareness. Whether you're making money on it or not, there's awareness of people going by and seeing it. And there's more value to that than a lot of companies give it credit for. So if you put something out and you're like, well, you know, that looks actually interesting, but I really don't want to pay that money to rent it. Well, now there's an impression. And a lot of companies don't think about that. So it's very important. So we did the exact same thing with the film where we went out transactionally. It went live on Netflix. And then we actually still let it window with Netflix, even though we contractually didn't need to. We still, because of my relationship, we let them have that window. And then we went out to markets they were not in on SVOD. And we just saw the numbers so impressive to help us. And the guys were very happy. So they pretty much maximized their revenue. But it wasn't just take this and move on. It was, you know, we have to work. That's what it all is. It's not, there's no one-stop shop. It's hard to say, but there isn't a one-stop shop. There's not, I made it here and we're done. No, there's get the right deal, keep the rights that you really need to, and then work with somebody that knows how to position it properly for at least 18 months. That's how I look at everything. At least 18 months. If it's not going to work in 18 months, it's really not going to work. It's just not. So, but if it's not working in 2, 3, or 4 months, it's still not done. I've seen movies rise from the dead 6, 8, 12 months later, where all of a sudden something happened and there was real money coming in for it because you just kept, you know, seeding a little bit, doing some things. You don't move away from it if you're a believer and you acquired it for a certain reason. So that goes back to the relationship with the sales agent or the distributor. You know, are they doing it just to do it, or are they doing it? An aggregator, for instance, is more of it's a pass-through. You need to get on certain platforms and you're going to use their service to go on. They take a fee, and that's fine. And I'm glad we have aggregators. But a distributor or a sales agent, if they believe in it, then they should be working it for quite a while and not just positioning it in different phases, but working it because there's value. It's value to them and value to you. And then a better calling card for you in the future going, well, what'd you do? Oh, I had this film or I had this show. And like, wow, I remember that. That was you? Oh my gosh, that was great. I always say, this is your baby. This is your baby. You can't let your baby go anywhere. You got to take care of your baby and nurture it. So. Too much, not enough?
Can I ask another question?
Anything.
Yeah.
You, please.
Yeah, I'm working in Netflix, but I haven't worked with any other platform right now, and I'm always wondering whether is there basic difference when you deal with like other platform like Amazon and other things that you mentioned compared to Netflix, that pros and cons, or is there a certain type of genres or things that you'd go to different platforms?
No, it's not so much. Well, no, that's where I went through all those different OTT platforms. That's where the different genres have strength because they specialize in certain things. So like that watch-free flicks, yeah, they'll take a lot, but action, horror, extremely well for them, and action especially. Pure flicks, family good values. You know, I know that traditionally in this world, romantic comedies do very well, very, very well. It's comfortable. You know, it's ease. It's like, you know, the digital, it should be ease of use and easy to access, and it's good and easy to go. You've got your horror specific. On a Netflix or others, they have their specifics that they look for. We know that, you know, and Amazon. Amazon on their Amazon Video Direct is literally, they are looking to really carry as much as they can of the good product, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. We know that. We know that not everything works there, that certain things do. We know that classic TV, in the TV world, it's a great time for television. It's just an amazing time for TV because that audience is there and they're hungry, and if it's a good show, they want to watch, they want to watch, they want to watch it, and all of a sudden, when something starts to really pop, it starts to have a trickle-down effect to all other companies. It's not just, well, you know, it did great for a week. No, it sustains itself for a while. So if you can find platforms like that, that's wonderful. On newer TV shows, if it's the right show and it's got some exposure, there's real money in the selling of it. EST, when they sell episodes and full packages of the season, there's still very good money there, and that could be before a SVOD deal as well. So again, you're dipping into all of that. You're not just going one-dimensional. There's ways to also work with possibly a broadcaster, and you give them go-along rights. And I always say go-along because say you do a deal with a broadcaster and they have an SVOD platform, but that's not really their business. They have it. Well, you do not want to grant them the exclusive SVOD rights. You'd want to give them a go-along right so that they are airing it, you're getting paid for it, but they can also air it on their channel. But it doesn't preclude you from exploiting it in other places. Depending on your relationship, and I'm different. I literally, if I have a very good relationship, regardless, I want to give them some type of window. Just as like, I'm very big into the relationship side. You're my guy, you're taking care of me. You know what, I do want to give you some type of little window, but I do not want you blocking me from going out to other platforms. That's not good for either of our relationships. So it's all those little things. You don't say yes to everything immediately. You got to say no, and then you find a happy medium so that you can maximize your value because, again, there are so many opportunities out there, and everyone's different. There are so many, and that's just today. Come back next year, how many more will be here, and how many more ones will be just in North America? It's amazing. And 5 years ago, yeah, there were a few. And there was decent money, but it was the big guys really where all of the real money was coming in. Now you've got the smaller players where those digital dimes are really starting to add up. It's amazing time, but it's hard, and you've got to navigate. And it all goes back from, do you have a decent program? Has it been encoded properly? Again, to that. Do you have your metadata done? How is the art? All those basics start with everything. If you don't have those basics in, forget about everything I said. Forget it, it's over. Because if it's encoded and sitting, whether it's in an encoding house or, or the publishing house that you're working with, if they don't have the assets ready to go in a specific format, which we have all standardized, then you can't move quickly to get a deal, which means you may miss that window. And there are windows of opportunities in this space. So right now, it's winter, it's the holidays, everything's changing. People are buying things. So you have this end of November through March, April, where it is the busiest time of the year. It really is the busiest time. If you don't have your act together and having everything in place now, you just lost a tremendous amount of opportunity for the next 4 months. And so everyone's scrambling. So, in the retail days, I've got to get everything set. The holidays are coming. It's the exact same thing here. You got to be positioned to have it ready because what's going on now? Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I just bought a new Roku stick. Oh my gosh, I just bought a brand new TV. What has that got? Let's see what's on. If your content's not there, sorry. And that's all of these, and so all of these platforms now may be first discovered this year. So if it's the right platform and you're comfortable with them, now you're new. I mean, it's just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. If anybody comes and says there's a negative about this, there's no negative about this business. There's opportunity, and there's just being smart about how you actually distribute in the marketplace. And that's what it is. And find the right company that gets it and knows how to work with you and you're comfortable with. It all comes down to that, all relationships. Unless you don't. Maybe you don't want it. Maybe you don't like it and you just don't care. Okay? Maybe the speakers. We had 4. Any more? And we made it. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mitch. As usual, a very stimulating session. Round of applause.